Yeah, quarter away from midday and 21 degrees downtown, heading for a high, would you believe, 22 degrees. That's my high. Weatherman already said 19 degrees past that. Thursday, 12th of December, you're right here at Galaxy, and tell you what, we better do this. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and so very, very happy to have everybody on board. If you're a first-time viewer, we've got a special welcome for you. Why not become part of the family? We call it the noise here at Galaxy. Tell you what, do this. Sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. Bell notifications when we have important people, much like today's Tim McGeary is joining us, coming, believe me, out of Florida. You're going to love it. You really, really are. Why not subscribe? Yeah, as I said, become part of the family. We call it the noise. And you know what to do with the thummy thing? Get epileptic with it. Tell you what, let's not muck around this morning. Let's get right into it. Joining Tim McGeary live. Here's Kicking Down the Road on Galaxy. Gosh, it's hot in here. How's the weather where you are?
It's been like, well, in degrees, we're doing Fahrenheit, but today was like 81.
Okay, we're on
I'm in like the subtropics of Florida on the southern part. So usually like, in the wintertime, it's like sort of like maybe 50 at nighttime, 55, 60, but like 75, 80 in the daytime.
Okay.
So it's nice.
Okay. We're on 65 right now.
Oh, that's good. That's comfortable. That's good working. That's good walking weather.
Yeah, but it's persisting down outside. So
Right.
add another 15, 20 degrees, or if in here, because of all the computers and everything, believe me, it's getting bloody uncomfortable, to be honest with you.
Does it get cold where you are, or no?
Not really. You see, we're sort of the warmer side of New Zealand, if you know what I mean. We're sort of like pretty much like Florida.
Right. I got you. Okay.
Whereas down the bottom of New Zealand, I think some parts are still getting snow right now.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
But they're closer to the pole than we are.
Right. I got you. Okay.
So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, literally. Tim, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here, man. Thank you so much for. You guys play a lot of my songs, and I was like, wow, he's playing that one.
Let me fill you in, Tim. I just welcomed everybody, invited them to become part of the family, which is the noise. Now, the noise, I've got to be honest with you, is not quiet. They are very, very vocal about who they like and what particular track they like, literally. And we're in every English-speaking country in the world, some that aren't, and I don't know how that works, but we'll take it. We will. But honestly, they really, really are very, very vocal about Tim McGeary. I see your name in the breakfast show every morning. I really, really do.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, the thing is, I try to write songs that come from my heart. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, like, sometimes, and something can be fun. They don't have to be serious. They don't have to be about love, but like Kicking Down the Road is just like, a musician is leaving his girlfriend. Like, all I want is his guitar, and I know so many friends, you know what you call a musician that breaks up with his girlfriend, right? Well, homeless. Okay? Yeah, so.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Let's go live.
Okay.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and believe me, today, absolutely elated, let me tell you, because Tim McGeary is joining us, literally coming out of Florida. Want to say hi to Ridge Banks, of course, coming out of Nashville this morning. Nice to have you on board, Ridge. Peter Hoffman is joining us as well, and that mysterious 5 others. Wonder who they are. Yeah, believe me, I've heard about those 5 others, like the mysterious 10 others that watch. Taiwan! Hello, brother. Nice to have you on board. Welcome back. And Steve Cordwell was joining us as well as the boss. Yes, not enough's in there, CC Critter. Watch out for that guy. Literally, believe me. It is an absolute pleasure to have Tim McGeary joining us, coming out of Florida. And Tim, welcome to Galaxy.
Thank you so much, man, for having me on. So glad that you're getting the music out there. For indie artists, it's really important, like stations like yours that that play new stuff, because I think people need to hear some new stuff. And I think that's it's what's out there, because sometimes you get sort of like it's always the same bands and like these oldie stations. Now I'm not they're great songs. I grew up with these songs, but some of them are 40, 50 years old. And so, like, hey, how about something fresh, something new? And that's what I like about stations like yours. Like, you let people that somebody has some stuff and they work hard at their songwriting, and working on their craft and stuff like that. And come up with some decent stuff. It's great that somebody will play it and can play it all over the world. And that's I can't be more thankful. A lot of people I've made a lot of friends with some, I guess you call yourselves presenters, because a lot of people don't say DJs anymore. It's like you're a presenter. And the thing is, I've made friends with them and stuff, and so pretty much if I send them something, they know it's not going to be, like, terrible.
Well,
believe
me, Tim, literally, we get about 200 submissions of music a day here at Galaxy, literally. So we've got to be very, very selective on who and what we're playing. We only have a certain amount of time per month, per week to be able to do these interviews and stuff, so we can't do 200 a day, literally. It's, illogical. So Barbara is very, very, very good with her red pen, I've got to be honest. Then it goes from what her selection is to production, and Barbara sort of whittle it down a little bit more again, and then it goes to our board of anything between 8 and 15 people at any given board meeting. Got to get past them because they're worried about our image. You know what I mean? Which I think is ridiculous, because they let me do this job, which is weird, to be honest. Anyway, then it comes to me, and believe me, I'm the final say here, because I listen to the music intently. Being an engineer myself, I like to be able to I have this curse, literally, I kind of like to be able to deconstruct your engineer's way of thinking to find out how the music was put together. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's definitely an engineer's curse. Every engineer I talk to gets that way. So then, once it does that, we set it to air and see how the audience responds to it, if you know what I mean. You, my friend, have been getting a huge response all around the world. They're loving Tim McGeary right here at Galaxy, and I've got to say thank you for being part of the Galaxy family. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just it was funny that Kicking Down the Road. That's on the Robert Paul band record, and me and Robert, we wrote that. I wrote that song a while ago, but so he's doing his guitar part, and we're going in the studio, and he's trying for the lead. I go, I don't know, it's just not angry enough. I said, you just slide? He goes, yeah. I really not done sliding a record ever. And I go, well, come on, let's try it. And he did. It was like, oh my God, brother, it's awesome. It's like, to me, it just totally fit that, like, there's something about a slide guitar, like, you got that angst sort of to it, and it's slide, just, it just has like a vibe to it. And I think that song, I think that's really. Robert was the guitar player for Johnny Van Zant. Johnny Van Zant's now the lead. For about 16 years, he toured with him. And now Johnny is the lead singer of Leonard Skinner. So, since his brother passed away. So, they're good friends and stuff. And, so I was contacted by my friend in Nashville and said, hey, I want you to write some songs with Robert. So we did his first record. And it was really good, It's like, it was very funny because, he was like a shredder, And I said, wait a minute. I go, I had to put my producer hat on, And I said, listen, I want you to, like, not do the shredding. I want you to start doing, like, really good leads. Like when yeah, you're gonna play "You Got Me Praying," right? That lead in there, like it's just it goes somewhere. It starts somewhere. It has a melody, and then it leads into the next part. And he did so well. And he was like, his friends when they first heard the record, they go like, well, "Who's playing guitar?" He goes, "That's me." What? Like they couldn't believe because he never really did that, but he loves it now, And he's like, and he gets it. And it was really organic between me and him. You know what I mean? We just had a really, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but and the thing is with me when I work with artists and stuff, I always try to be positive and and give them the best. I let them loose, a little bit, but just give them a little bit of direction, and it seems to work. And I keep it positive because if you're going to get something the best out of somebody, you can't browbeat them. They're not going to do it. It's going to be the worst. There's no vibe. So when you sit there and it's positive and it's happy and it's like, and that's what it was in our studio. Like we just had the best time when we were recording this. And the next one's coming out, in about like another 6 or 8 weeks, not sooner. So that's all. Tracks are all done. We're just we're into the mixing phase and mastering phase. We've got a couple of tracks. We're gonna put some live drums on. The drummer. We have a guy Darren that's really great, and then my friend Ray Nesbitt, who's also has a really good mixer. And sometimes too, like sometimes I gotta take my ego out of it. Like I did everything. No, I didn't. I know Ray is a better mixer than me at the end. And sometimes, if you've been an engineer, like like sometimes you listen to a song over and over, and you just start missing stuff because it just. So what do you do? Give it to somebody else, that hasn't heard it, and let him go through and use his stuff. And then we sort of co-produce it together. And I think the products come out like, well, I guess you're getting a good feedback because people are enjoying the stuff that he does.
Absolutely, we are. Got to say hi to Jeff Bateson, who's joining us this morning, as well as Jody Medford. Hello, Jody. Also, Terry Van Cannon coming out of North Carolina. If you ever want a slide steel master, Terry Van Cannon is the man. Cheryl Schofield is joining us. Franco Nanucci. Hello, Franco. Glenn Baker is on board, as well as Marion Peterson. Hello, sweetheart. Want to wish everybody, if I don't get a chance before now, a very happy, safe, and Merry Christmas, New Year. Have great festives, party until you have to apologise, okay? Today we're talking to Tim McGeary, and I want to know, Tim, about Wounded Man. I love this track. Tell me about this. How did you come to the lyrics?
What, you got me praying one? Or?
Wounded Man.
Oh, Wounded Man. Well, it was funny. I was in the kitchen, and I had this thing of like this wound. I was thinking because I worked with a guy in Garahana, and we worked with veterans that have PTSD, and what we used to do is we'd go to they had a veterans like how do you call it? They have bars and they have like restaurants, but they're veterans hall, and they choose a guy that's like having a rough time, and what we do, we go down there and we would sing, and we'd like generate like $3-4 grand, and then we just hand it to them like, here's $4 grand, like whatever. You got to make a house payment, you got to fix your car. And I think the thing is, what I found out is that these guys, not just the money, it was just a thought that, listen, I respected your service, and I just didn't do it, just mouth, and we hadn't did something, and we're going to hand you cash, so you can you can get get a leg up. And so, I used to work with the guys that we used to do the equine, and I would sort of and I played some songs and stuff, and they played with the horses. So I had a lot of stuff, and I was a paramedic too, down here for 23 years as a day gig. I'm retired now, but and I met a lot of guys with PTSD, In fact, sadly enough, in the last year and a half, I had 4 firefighters and 1 paramedic that I worked with commit suicide.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, and because you see some bad stuff, and I don't know what it was, and so PTSD and depression can sneak up on people, and so I'm really all about helping them so I can. A Wounded Man came out of that. I wrote it with my friend Corey Barker, who's an extraordinary lyricist. We sort of came up with things together, but he was really good, and we've written some really good songs together, him and I, and we that just came out, and then I had there was a band. This guy plays with the dobro, Sasha. He's from Russia, and he was in a band. It was Bering Straits was a country Russian band that my friend Mike Cannon discovered. They're really good. They were really good. They're broken up now, but some of the players, and Sasha's like one of the best dobro players in the world, and he's a friend of Mike's. And so I asked him Mike, and he goes like, well, let me talk to him, and he did it. You know what I mean? I paid him like way less than he should have paid. But he did as a friend from my friend Mike. So that part, at the end of the song when he starts ripping it up on the dobro, it's like, damn, son.
Now, I got to interject here. I really, really do, because you're a hero of mine, being a first responder and a retired one. So you've had a very, very storied career in that. But a friend of mine too, who is watching right now, and what is that going on out there? Is there a speeding car or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got weirdos going up and down the street, main street out there, doing weird things because of the wet roads. But Glenn Baker is an artist that we have here, part of the Galaxy family. He does shows right now. Every cent that he's putting to one particular track literally goes to buying and helping to buy exoskeletons for bets as well, if you know what I mean. So I think you guys are on the same wavelength, and I have so much respect for you, so much respect for Glenn Baker as well. Kelly Lewis is watching as well, so I tell you what, without further ado, right here at Galaxy is Tim McGeary. Here's Wounded Man. Ooh, it's hot in here. Is there somebody racing a car out there? Really?
Yeah, and you know where it lives? Free sales just off.
Can you
off
take
the
photos
road.
of that and send it to the police station, please?
Okay. Of course I can.
Thank you. Those guys want to know about this crew. They do. Oh gosh. So you opened up for Billy Idol back in the day.
Oh, well, I was in a band called. I got a really good other story I'm gonna tell you too, but I gotta tell you it's very cool. But yeah, we were in a band called The Rescue. We were EG Management. They had Roxy Music, King Crimson, and Killing Joke. We were like their American band. So and there was a guy from England, and he was Paul McGarvin and I. We wrote the songs and stuff, and had some good players. Just fun, but we went out. We did about 40 days of Billy Idol. We opened for Duran Duran. Berlin. Stray Cats, Patti Smith, Scandal, Simple Minds, Modern English, The Cure, Depeche Mode. Oh man, I'm probably missing persons. Went out there a couple times. So we did we toured like for about 2 years. It was funny. We came off the road on this terrible tour, and we told our manager, go like, "What the hell was that thing? We did the worst tour ever. Every club motor was like meaner than the next." And he goes, "Just toughing you guys up. You can stop crying because in 2 weeks you opened for Duran Duran for 25,000 people at Brennan Arena." So we went from bad club to like 20, and then we did 25,000 seaters for like 2 years in a row. It was great.
Nice.
And I learned a lot of that. But I got to tell you this quick story. So we used to roadie for a band, a guy named Richard Hell and the Boy Joy. It was a punk band back in the days. And we used to roadie. So he said, "Richard, we used to play CBGBs," and I said, "If we can open for you, we're in a band called Neighbors and Allies. We can open for you for the Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, 3 nights. We'll roadie for free, and you can have the whole door. We just want to open." He goes, "Well, yeah, that's great, So we played Thursday night, and Jimmy Jesty there, so Blondie was there. And the next time I get up the stage on Friday, I get up the stage, and the guy goes, "Hey, we had a guy staying with us. I'll do the roadie because David Bowie's out there and wants to meet you." We're like, "What? Like, David? You mean the David Bowie?" And yeah, I don't know what the song is, but so real quick, what happened was, so we sat down with him. He's the coolest guy ever, really nice. He looked at me, he goes, "You really want to be a rock star?" And I go, "Yes." At 22, that's exactly what I want to do. And but the cool thing, he's leaving at the end of the night, and he asks the doorman, he goes, "What is that opening band getting paid?" And he goes, "They're not." He goes, he took $900 out of his wallet and paid us.
Very
How's that?
cool.
Pretty cool, right?
Very
Yeah,
cool.
That's very cool.
Very cool. I met David Bowie at a train station in Auckland, New Zealand. Literally. I was his engineer for a show here in New Zealand, at Western Springs.
Oh, really?
And the boss said to me, "Grant, I got nobody to go and pick him up. Do you want to take my car and go and get him? So I went and got him, drove him all the way there, and when they introduced me as the engineer, he goes, "Oh, I thought he was just the bloody driver." Nice guy. There was the glass spider tour that we did.
Oh yeah, okay, everyone I know that knows him and worked with him, they all say the same thing. He's like a gentleman, and he's all about creating and artist. Really nice, yeah. Good man.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and just talking about David Bowie too, by the way. Barbara, was it his girlfriend or a songwriter that used to be a backup singer for David Bowie that we know?
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend, it was a girlfriend, yeah, absolutely. Travelled around with him for years, if I remember right. I first met David Bowie in Germany with the Station to Station tour many years ago, and he didn't recognise me the day I picked him up. Thought he would. You know? Nah, no clue. Didn't know me for embarrassed sake. It wasn't until we got in the green room where the bosses are going, "This is your engineer, and you know each other," that the picture came together again. It was many years ago. Tim, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on board. It really is. And I got to say, I'm absolutely loving the quality of work that's coming out right now. But I got to be honest, you don't got me praying. You really don't got me praying, but I really am quite inquisitive about this track. Got to say hi to Greg Lee too, by the way. Nice to have you on board, Greg. Tell me all about You Got Me Praying.
Well, I guess it's really basically like, you get down to the end, you have like that wild streak, and you're getting down the end, and sometimes wow, I'm down for the count, and so there's only one way there's one way out, one door out of here. Sometimes it's like you just got to sort of get on your knees and do a little praying, and get a little humble. And I guess that's where the song sort of comes from, you know what I mean? I had a great ride. I cannot tell you, how many people can say have a major record deal? How many people can say I went to England and did the record? It's just, the touring we did, the music I did, we're doing now, my job, the things I've seen. I was a merchant marine for 3 years, I just done a lot of things, and I think You Got Me Praying. It's like, I'm not a religious guy, but I'm very a spiritual guy. You know what I mean? I'm filled with gratitude. I have affirmations I use every day. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed. And things didn't go exactly the way I had planned. I can tell you that. There's a whole other story there, but it couldn't be more perfect. And I got a great wife that stood me. 37 years clean and sober, and we've been married 44 years. So she went through that me and was strong and helped me through that. And that was, I had 2 rehabs, and I haven't touched anything. It's so long ago, I don't even think about it anymore. But but it was. You go on the road, Billy Idol for 40 days, and cocaine in the 80s. Ooh, it was brutal.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've met Billy Idol. I really have, and we sort of had only one night together. I will admit. I mean, we had about maybe 9 hours before we went to and did work. I was actually introduced to him by a company called Festival Records here in New Zealand. They said,
Okay.
"Listen, we need you to show him around, take him to a few shows, take him to a few shops that he can sign some." Some of his records, stuff like that. Of course, I think they were doing the Moni Moni tour at the time, and of course, doing the engineering that night, you know what I mean? But the kicker was, in my car, my brother, who literally was a Billy Idol lookalike, if you want, literally right down to the jumpsuits, the whole deal, sitting in my car at the time, waiting for me to come out of this record deal, when the bosses from Festival Records says, "Come in the back, I want you to meet somebody," right? And as soon as I met the guy, I went, "You got to meet my brother." So I ran outside, grabbed my brother inside. It was like we couldn't tell them apart. We really couldn't. So we literally took my brother to one of these record signing deals and passed him off as Billy Idol, while Billy and I were in the car watching, having a great laugh about it. In the meantime, here at Galaxy is Tim McGeary, and You Got Me Praying on Galaxy. Yeah, that was a long time ago, Tim. It really was.
I know. I'm talking 83. That's like, yeah, we're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but I still, the experiences you have like that, you just have to say, wow. I mean, I just feel like, I don't know. I had when I was 3.5, I had a 2-year-old brother killed by a car, my brother Kevin, and I swear he's like my guardian angel because I scooted some stuff that I should have been arrested, and somehow I never did, and it was one after the other, and if I was arrested, I've never been able to be a paramedic, and it's like it's all these things that happen.
Neighbor.
And when I think about it, it's like, I'm lucky, and so so that's why I try to help other people. Like I like to work with like young artists and stuff, and first thing I tell them, I say, don't worry about the fame. The fame's gonna come and go, I said, but the music stays like, like the song like, I Can't Make You Love Me, that Bonnie Wright did. Art Shambler, one of the writers, I did a show with him down in Texas, and that song was originally a bluegrass song. I go, what? And he wrote with the piano player, and the piano player retooled it. To me, that song is classic. That song's going to sound good. It's been sounding good for how many years, and it's going to sound good for 50 more. It's just like, and that, to me, that's what I want to try to write one of those. That's my goal, someday.
Believe me, bro, I think you're going to get there. I really, really do. For us here at Galaxy, literally, like every business, we always look at expansion, right? And
right.
So we've been headhunted by a company in India. In fact, we've been headhunted by one of the most influential people in India, and he wants to open up 10 Galaxy radio stations throughout strategic places in India. So I would love to ask you personally, can I play your music on our new radio stations coming out of India starting next year?
Please do. Yeah, play them all. I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I mean, the thing is for me, some of my wife's going like, well, you're making money. I go, it's not about the money anymore. I mean, I have a really good retirement as a firefighter.
Sure.
Okay? I mean, not rich, but like,
Tim, I'm going to cut you off there. We're running out of time. Hold on, my bro. Hang in there. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're speaking to Tim McGeary about his music. Wolf Milestone is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Wolf, and also Lenora Nelson.
My neighbour.
Your neighbour?
Lee, yeah, hi Lee.
Oh, Lee! Hello, Lee. Nice to have you on board again. And Ron Barrett is joining us as well. Believe me, it's a packed house today. It's very, very cool to see. And Tim McGeary, absolutely 100% my hero. He's a returned, he's a superhero as a first responder in a career, but moreover, believe me, he's had an absolutely action-packed career as an artist as well. I see David Krantz is joining us as well. Now, Tim, I'm absolutely fascinated, really am fascinated about all of the past of Tim McGeary, but I've got to ask you, what initially kicked this off? Why did you want to be a rock star, of all things?
Well, I've written music. I saw this one time when I was 7 years old or 6 years old, and I was playing piano lessons, right? And the teacher gave me a piece to practice, And then I came back, I said, I played that, and I go, and I wrote this. She's like, what? And I wrote her a piece of music. And she's like, wow. And so I've loved writing music. I just love it. And, you know, it's I have a great-grandfather who, you know, was playing violin, started first women's orchestra in Ohio. I have a grandfather that was on Four Grads, a singer that was on the Ted Mack Amateur Hour, and they won. And, you know, but he became a dentist, he didn't want to do the singing. You know, so we had a lot of music on my mother's side of the family, so I guess that's the gene. And I just, you know, the oldest of 10 children. I'm Timothy Sean, Irish Catholic. You know how that works, right? I have 5 sisters named Mary. You know. Yeah, they're all Mary. We call them by the middle name, but there's 8 of us left. Yeah, we have, you know, it was crazy time. But I just always, I don't know what it was. I just love music. I mean, when I listen to music, it's like, for me, it's almost a spiritual thing. Like, I'm so into it. Like, you know, what it says, what it does, you know. And, you know, when I first, you know, when I heard the Beatles, you know, like, oh. And then when I heard the Sgt. Pepper record, when I was 13 years old, I was with my cousins, and I was in California, and he goes, hey, because his dad was in radio. And he goes, hey, there's a band's playing there. You want to go see him? Well, I'm thinking, like, you know, regular local bands, but, you know, it was Newport 69. I saw Jimi Hendrix with Buddy Miles, and Eric Burden came out on stage, and like in the Flock, and you know, like what, like this huge concert. It was like, you know, like 200,000 people, Hell's Angels, like, you know, with the security. It was like it was like wow. And
what was that? I mean, Woodstock? Was that Woodstock?
No, it was at Newport 69.
Okay.
It was same kind of thing. Like, yeah, this was good. But yeah, I never forget it. You know, and I was back there. I started as a drummer. And of course, it's like Mitch Mitchell was like, you know, that fire, you know, that was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. So, and we just, you know, it was just amazing. So, you know, I think I just got the bug, and I just love music, and I also love sometimes, you know, what it can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you know, when you get out there in front of people, and you know, like some of the songs I sing, you know, there's a song called Miracles I wrote. I don't sing it. I have this guy, we had a guy sing it. When my son died, I was killed in a car crash. And 10 days later after the funeral, we went outside, and this single white flower grew up. It hadn't rained or anything. We're like, And we've been in the house 12 years, so we knew what grew in our yard. We never saw that flower ever before. So a couple of days later, my wife went out, and the original flower closed up, and there was 5 white flowers just like the first one. And my wife went to call me, and when she got to the phone rang, and it was a nurse from the organ donation. Said, hey, I just want to tell you that 5 lives were saved from your son's gift. So, I mean, like, you know, so I've had some really strong spiritual things, and I think music, to me, is cathartic. It helps me with my sadness and stuff, and, you know, and things I go through, and also I think that's what helps other people, too. You know what I mean? Where they can, you know, you can talk to them, or you play them the songs, and they relate to it, you know, like, wow, that we need to hear that, and, you know, stuff like that. Like, there's a song there, I Was There For You. I don't know if you've ever played that one. And that was my friend that was in a really terrible car crash where, you know, he saw terrible things, and the guy lost his head, and he was totally traumatized. And every day I'd call him up, and I'd go, you okay? We talk about it, you know. Because I learned that, like, in paramedic, we had a thing called critical incident stress debriefing. And when you had a really bad call, like a child call or something, we'd have the counselors would come in right away after the call, you know, because, you know, otherwise, you know, you can't, you see bad stuff with that job. And I was a flight medic for 5.5 years. So you got all the, like, you know, bring me that leg, bring it over here, you know. And
believe me, I fully understand, Tim. I really, really do. Let me explain why I asked you that question too, by the way. Is once upon a time I was actually talking to Gene Simmons. I says, what kicked this off? Why did you want to be a bass player in a band? Right. He says, well, it was either that or I was going to be a master criminal. True.
That's fun. We were in a record plant one time. We were doing some stuff. Gene Simmons there, and he tried to pick up my wife.
Why, is she heavy?
She said no.
Hey, listen, I was just talking to an artist before you. He had to go and pick up his kid, his boy. Yeah. And I says, how heavy is he? He goes, oh, not that heavy, really, you know what I mean? I says, that's fine, you know. I'd hate to try and pick up my kid these days. In fact, believe me, I think he would pick me up instead. He's that big now. Love Does, believe me, loving this track, and I wasn't sure if we had it in the playlist because I don't actually get to choose the music. I'm loving this track, and I've got to be honest with you, I've actually put this in my playlist in my car so that I listen to it when I'm cruising around town. So I think it would be remiss of me, A, if I didn't ask you, first of all, tell me all about it, but before that, I do have a question from Pauline, who's coming out of Winchester, and she's saying, Tim, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on X? Are you a talker? But more importantly, Tim, do you respond?
Yes. Facebook, there's Tim McGeary, and there's also the Tim McGeary music page. Instagram, Tim McGeary official. I'm on TikTok. There's also timmcgeary.com, and if you basically write, you can leave a message on there, and I'll get that. And if I get that message, and if you contact me, then I'll send you some MP3s of some of the new stuff coming out.
Very cool. Also, Robbie, coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, is asking, do you have a merch store? How do I get a T-shirt, cap, koozie?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Do you have a merch store? How does he get hold of a T-shirt, a cap, or a koozie?
I should have a merch store, but I don't. I haven't done with this. With the Robert Paul band, we were supposed to do get some kind of merch going, but it didn't really happen. We're just like doing the music. But no, I mean, like I do have some CDs and stuff. If they ever want that, like if somebody wants something and they can contact me, I will send them some CDs.
Tell
you know what I mean? And they're usually $10 a one. I don't make them ridiculously expensive. You know what I mean? I make a couple of dollars on them. It pays for making them. So
absolutely,
I'll do that.
Absolutely, I fully understand, Tim. I tell you what, you'd have to sign a couple, throw them in the mail and send them to me. I wouldn't mind having a couple of your CDs as well. Jimmy Piano, hello Jimmy, nice to have you on board and welcome back. Also Sandy Homer, hello Sandy. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Of course, if you're going to be out partying over the festives, party until you have to apologise, okay? Until then, Love Does. Joining us live is Tim McGeary. Here it is, Love Does. How you feeling, Tim? You okay?
I'm doing great. This is basically a straight up love song. That's what it is. You know.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it, like my wife a while back, she tripped over one of our dogs and hurt her back, and she said when she hears this song, like she had a hard time, so every day I got money to help her up, support her and stuff like that. And this is that kind of song that like sort of says, I didn't say that particularly, but that's what we do for each other. We're like there, like we're a team, and I think that's why like it's worth like. We married 44 years in November. So, and the way I met her, I was living in Yardley in a van, and this friend of mine used to work at this restaurant called the Yardley Inn. He was a kid, and the owner was good friends with his family. So Mother's Day, which is a very busy day in the restaurant business here in the States, and one of the cooks called out. So he's like, "Oh, you know anybody that cooks?" And I go, "Well, I cook." He go, "What do you need? I can do saute, or I can do broiler." He goes, "I need a broiler guy." "Yeah, I'll come in." So I did. I just worked there one day for the guy. She was waiting tables, and I saw her that night, and I asked her to go out, and she had her hair in a bun, and then she came over and she let her hair down. That was it. I was smitten.
Dear. Very, very cool. I love that story. That is very cool. I'm not going to tell you the story about how I met my wife. No, this is not
that's what, and they're like everyone's like these real romantic things, like we were just fighting and go like, "You want to get married?" Okay, that's how ours was, but ours worked.
Well,
44 years, like we could.
Here's a rather quirky bit for you. Today's the 12th of December, right? Here in New Zealand. 2 days ago was my wife's birthday, 10th of December.
Okay.
Also, her bridesmaid, which happens to be my other boss, Barbara, is her birthday on the 10th of December. You know what? I figured out the only way to remember what day I was married would be on my wife's birthday. So we've got 2 birthdays and a wedding anniversary happening all on the same day. I can never forget when I got married.
Well, happy anniversary, happy birthday, whatever. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Get it all in there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my birthday is in a couple of days, actually, on the 22nd. But believe me, I'm terrible with birthday dates. I'm terrible with all sorts of numbers. So I figured if I got married on my wife's birthday, I was never going to forget it.
Right.
Unbeknownst to me, my wife's bridesmaid, it's her birthday as well. So.
All the family.
Triple hit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How many countries have turned up? 169 countries. Not bad. Not bad.
What?
That's right. You're right. Here we go. See at 107 FM. What are you doing, Barbara? Are you kissing the phone?
No, my phone's getting hot.
Oh, your phone's getting hot. You're trying to... I tell you what, let's cool it down for you. God, honestly, we were talking to one artist coming out of Florida not so long ago, and his phone caught on fire. So if it's getting hot, we don't want that to happen. Michael Zdanowitz is watching too. Nice to have you on board, Michael, coming out of Orlando, Florida, another place just down the road from where our artist is today. Of course, Michael's with Galaxy Class Entertainments, and if you want anything for your band, get hold of us or get hold of Michael Zdanowitz coming out of Galaxy Class. Believe me, you can't go wrong. We trust Michael, we do. Ian Ricardo Greaves is watching as well. Nice to have you on board, Ian. Clutcher Heights is in there. Hello, my friend. Nice to have you back. Today we're talking to Tim McGeary, coming out of Florida too, by the way. And, well, I got to ask you, why am I going to stop you if you're wrong? I mean, seriously, if you're wrong, I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to let you trip up all over the place and prove you're wrong at the end of it. Why would I stop you? No, it's not going to happen. Tell me about Stop Me If I'm Wrong.
I wrote that with my friend Lisa Carver, who's a phenomenal writer and artist too. She's just the coolest person I ever met. And it was funny, like sometimes you do a co-write, and with her, you sat down for at least an hour to talk to see what you were as a person. You know what I mean? Like that. And we just got along, famous, so it was great. And then the song came up, and I had this riff on the guitar, and, and the chorus sort of come in, and she's like, oh, this is great, it's going to be fun. And that's where she has that line, that one, it's, the whispered yes, my, the warmth of a woman's neck. And that's the line, it's the best line in the world. It's the sweet sound of surrender when the shoulder loses the dress. And I was like, oh my goodness, man. Please.
I love that line. That is fantastic. Clutcher Heights too, by the way, coming out of St. Anne, Jamaica. You're right here at Galaxy with Tim McGeary. Stop me if I'm wrong on Galaxy.
What's supposed to you think get the most likes or the most?
Actually, Stop Me If I'm Wrong is at the moment at 1,754 requests.
Wow.
That's not bad. That's not bad. It's still climbing. Tomorrow it'll be more. It really will be. It really will be.
I'm not. It's sort of funny because if you're in the, my grandson's a drummer. He's really, really good. He's staying with us now. I mean, he's really, really off the chain good. And people say, well, it's your grandson. I go, no, and they see him and I go, whoa, that kid is his. He is really good. But, I tell him, I say, this is a tough business. You have to have pretty thick skin, and you got to be able to roll the punches because some days you're on top of the world, and some days you're like, why am I doing this? That kind of stuff. And you just got to keep strong in your vision. That's why you keep your ego out of it and just go. The co-writing thing was a whole different thing for me too. I never co-written with anybody. Well, I guess I did, but it was just different. When Nashville's is a whole different thing, and it was really good. I learned a lot from these guys and girls that were out there that were really good. And we just They taught me some stuff. And this, the first thing is like Ego's out of the room. Like I wrote this song called House. It's girl Amy and Vanessa. And I do the chorus and we started. And then their lyrics just were on fire, right? So what I learned to do was like shut up because it's fire. And I'm gonna let you go with it. And they killed it. It was like, oh, it's cool. I love that song. So, yeah, we just, I mean, yes, you have to keep your ego. Like I said, ego stays out the door, when you do it. And, and you just, but what I found, like in Nashville, people liked to write with me because every time I came to a session, I always tried to have like 3 to 5 ideas. Like, hey, how about this or this? And they go, oh, I really like that. Let's do that one. So that was good. And that's, a lot of times, you get in the room with some of these guys, like, what do you got? I don't know, what do you got? And they have nothing. So, and sometimes some great stuff can come out of it, or sometimes, you sit there, look at it for 3 hours and nothing happens. But I always try to come up with something, to bring something to the table as we walked in. And so, like, say, oh, okay, I like that melody, I like that guitar. I like that, the words you're going to come start with. And then we got, from there, we work it up together. Well, the other thing is, right, I don't know if I have time, but real quick is, when you co-write, you don't have any lazy lines. Every line's got to be good. And so if you have one that's like sort of, no, let's best that line. We push ourselves, you know what I mean? And that's why they come up some of these songs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy with some of the stuff.
I'm getting off the cat in there, my bro. I really am. But. That's right, you're right, here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to Tim McGeary, coming out of Florida. Which part of Florida are you in, Tim?
We're in Naples, and the old joke is old people move to Florida and their parents move to Naples.
Well, I tell you what, you're not in the line of the hurricanes and stuff like that just went through a wee while ago.
Yeah, we were. Ian basically that came in, and that my daughter lost her house. Her husband lost her house, and they hence moved to Philadelphia. They don't want to be on hurricanes anymore.
Yeah.
But Beach and a lot of my friends, it got really bad. The storm surge was just terrible.
Yeah, two of them in the space of weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah. We had two in a row, and we were doing there's a thing called the Island Hoppers. It's a BMI thing. It's a royalty collecting organization, and they have a huge concert called the Island Hopper Music Festival, and I've been playing it ever since it started 10 years ago. And we didn't think we were only going to be able to do it, but they did get it together. They had to cancel a couple of days and clean the island up, get the sand off the roads because a lot of storm surge came in. But they did, and we had a good time, man. And people just they rallied. What I find is, I tell you like this: most people are good. And our country, I think, thing is, we are at our best when things are at their worst. And things are like, all of a sudden, people like the real, like the kindness, the goodness. You know what I mean? I was a firefighter and a paramedic, and I worked at when the towers fell in 2001. We were up on ground zero for 2 weeks. I worked with the firefighters there and stuff with the DMAT team, and then also Katrina. And I can't tell you how many random acts of kindness that I saw over and over and over. The thing is, no one sees that. We just get the bad stuff, and we think everyone's going to hell. And most people are good, And I believe that. And we've been to Europe a couple of times. The last time I went for 70 days. Went all over Europe. And, I think if you're nice and kind, you know what I mean, and you're and not loud and boisterous and aggravating, you get nice and kind back. We had the best time. We had the nicest people. We were going through Montenegro. No one told us the car that we couldn't drive there, but we didn't know. So we get to the borderline. The guy goes, "Well, you don't have the original registration for your car, so we can't let you through." So another guy comes over and he goes, "Hey, listen, we like Americans. You guys are nice. Of course you don't have the original. You're in a rental car, but I'm going to see what I can do. I'll let you through. But tomorrow you have to go through Albania, and they're way stricter than us. But my best friend is one of the border guards here. I'm going to call him up and see what he can do." We called him up, and he goes, "Go ahead. You got to let us through." And they go, "Did you pay him any money?" "No, we wouldn't pay. I offered like a CD or something. No, it's okay. So, I mean, I just think that when you have that you get that vibration of kindness and goodness, you know, you just attract that, you know, I don't know. So, yeah, we try.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ivory Priest is watching as well. Nice to have you on board, Ivory. And Dale Hammond. Love to your brother Gail as well, of course, one of the famous Hammond brothers. And, well, we are going to have to wrap this up. One thing I do have to say, you mentioned the 9/11. I think everybody in the world remembers where they were right then when that happened. Doesn't matter who you are, everybody can say, oh yeah, I was doing this at the time. Isn't that amazing that everybody in the world absolutely knows one particular moment in time and where they were? That's just horrendous at what happened, and much respect to you, sir. Really, really much respect. But we are going to have to wrap this up, and I've got one final question for you. Will you come back and do this again?
Yes. You guys are great. I want to come back. I'll have new music in a couple months. You know, some new stuff coming out. I'd love to, you know, play, let you hear it. And if you like it, you know, play that too. And that will be coming out like probably in about 6 to 8 weeks, maybe sooner. But I'm thinking probably that by the time we mix it, master it, and get everything done, you know, it takes a little bit of time. And yeah, I'll be showing there's a whole new. The thing is, it's not going to be the Robert Paul band. It's going to be Tim McGeary featuring Robert Paul. You know, because basically. Yeah, we write together, but like I write a lot of it, and you know, so we're gonna keep it that. And it was his decision, not mine.
Absolutely brilliant. And you know, Tim, I hope you and your family have a very, very happy and successful festives. And as I say to everybody, party until you have to apologise. But until then, looking forward to catching up with you 2025, my friend. We'd love to have you back. Really, really would.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so happy birthday, happy anniversary, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I think I've got it all in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
Thank
Hey,
you.
too.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Good by your side.
Go and put your headphones back on. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Today we were talking to, of course, Tim McGeary coming out of Florida. Tell you what, coming very, very close to the end of the year. We've not got too many of these interviews left. Please stand by. But in the meantime, join myself and Barbara tomorrow morning on The Breakfast Show between 5:30 in the morning, and 10. Believe me, you can't go wrong. 100% Galaxy artist, best in the world. From me, happy radio, everyone.